Scopely is now the proud owners of FoxNext. What is that going to mean for you and your Marvel Strike Force account? We're definitely going to talk about that this week, guys. Also, Khasino has more of these rumored characters. I'm going to try to get more information about him than last week, guys. I will see what we can do. I will do my best. We got a lot more to talk about in your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update, guys. And if you're ready for it, I think you know what to do. Let's go smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. A lot of stuff going on this week in the world of Marvel Strike Force. Welcome to your weekly news update. As usual, I am joined by my brother Khasino, but this time you are on the other side of the continent. You are not at home, and we are doing this remotely again. That does not stop the news. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, finding time and a place to get away and record. Normally I'd say I was doing great, but whew, there may be some extra salt and pepper on the Khasino ranting today.
This is the video to do it in, guys. You guys can check out the topics down below. Of course, there are going to be timestamps, but there's going to be a lot of little hints. I know we made you guys aware of that last week, but I'm going to try to get out as much about these new rumored characters as possible, and we are definitely talking about the new owners of Marvel Strike Force and FoxNext, Scopely. What we know so far, guys, there are some sponsors down below. If you want to support the channel, check out those links. BlueStacks, LootCakes, a lot of good stuff there, guys. Check out those programs. But before we get into all the Marvel Strike Force news, I do want a bit of bring some sad news to you, my friend. Mr. Peanut has passed away after being the mascot for the Planters Peanuts for so long. And this is not an ad. They're not a sponsor of this show. But yes, he passed away, and I guess his funeral will be at the Super Bowl. How do you feel? How are you taking this news? I know it is tragic.
I mean, I'm not that upset about it. Like, he walked around like he was better than everyone. Like, he could walk just fine, but he had a walking stick. He wore a monocle. Like, he was a pompous jerk. I don't miss him.
All right, there it is, guys. Yeah, so you can catch his funeral at the Super Bowl, I guess, sometime during that. But we are talking back to Marvel Strike Force, guys. All right, Yo-Yo Blitz went on this past weekend. The scores, I have never seen such high predictions from you guys. What went on with this Blitz? My goodness, I would figure not as much people would have unlocked Black Bolt, not as much people going for her, but apparently I am wrong. My goodness.
I mean, Yo-Yo's a probably god tier, at the very least demigod tier solo character. So yeah, I mean, Yo-Yo's incredible, worth going for. And I mean, it was a new character Blitz, so the general rule of thumb, and this trend has only been broken a couple times, pretty much always a new character means the highest Blitz scores ever, like to that point.
Yeah.
So Yo-Yo was the next new character, so the scores are really high.
Very true. Very true. Any thoughts of Yo-Yo? You've played with her for a little over a week now. We talked about her real quick. Any final thoughts on Yo-Yo now that you've probably played with her more than last week? Anything changed?
No, I mean, I still really like her. I've been primarily using her as part of the Inhumans team, so I haven't seen that much of her off the Inhumans team. I did it first when I first got her, but yeah, on that team, she's absolutely incredible. She's just giving out tons of evades. She's offense downing absolutely everyone, and combined with the Crystal passive, it's so much survivability for a team that's so heavy on the offense. So yeah, she's just a bit of a superstar, really fast. Yeah, you know, ability that hits multiple targets, and then a full AoE, giving out ability energy. Yeah, she just continues to impress. I'm very happy with her.
I like it. I like these unique kind of protectors, like the hand sentries, like these Yo-Yos that protect the team in a unique way. So I am in favor of these unique protectors. And Yo-Yo, I've only used her in an Inhuman team as well, so I don't have too much experience, but I am enjoying her, and she is they are an auto team, guys. They are a very strong team. Blue gear, that was a big complaint of the community ever since Ultimate 7 came around, and it looks like they are kind of solving it. Their solution in the blog post of last week. If you're looking to collect more blue gear, we've got you covered. Blue gear orb fragments are being added in the near future to Arena daily objective rewards and the rewards for High Roller, Save the World, and World Warrior milestones. Want all players of all levels to get additional blue gear orbs. How do you like this as a solution for blue gear not being a reward in Ultima 7?
Yeah, I like it quite a bit because it's going to give just a ton of blue gear to everyone, so it's going to function great as a catch-up mechanic, and it will make sure, like, that alone should be enough blue gear to cover, you know, the people who are doing Ultima 7.
Yeah.
You know, because they're getting blue gear orbs every day, and it's not like they're getting a new character that needs blue gear every day.
Yeah.
So it works great, but it sounds like it'll be more blue gear than the late game players need. So it sounds like it'll work really well as a catch-up mechanic too. So.
I don't know. If they keep releasing characters at the rate they've been releasing them, my goodness, I'm gonna run out of blue gear in a couple days. Jeez.
Yeah, I have a good stock built up, but I hear what you're saying. The character release pace has been preposterous lately.
Oh my goodness. We're definitely going to be talking about Karnak, but let's get to some positive news before we talk about this release schedule. Thing added to the Blitz store, latest in the line of Fantastic Fours to be added, and looks like we will be getting some more. Hela got added to orbs. What do you see as the connection to this? Do you think it is next Graviton, or maybe Mr. Fantastic, and then Graviton, and then Hela, and the rest of it as Guardians? Is that what you see?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that what? That's what I'm hoping, at least.
That's what I'm hoping as well. But yeah, I mean, they know that people are complaining about these characters not having been farmable, so they're aware and they're looking for solutions to it, from what we can tell. So that's good. And then the fact that it's the Thing you went to Blitz store, like the characters who go to the Blitz store are like the easier characters to max.
Yeah.
And the Thing is all stats, so having a 7-star Thing is really good news for the Thing, because he's literally like, his stat page is, that's like half his kit right there.
Yeah.
So it's really good that he's the one who went to the Blitz store, because he'll be easy to max out in terms of stars. So
I like it. I am expecting Mr. Fantastic next. My other question is, where are the Supernatural going? We haven't really seen too much Ghost Rider or Elsa, right? Or are they in the orbs already? I think I missed them if they have come to the orbs.
I don't think they are in orbs yet. I'm not sure. Obviously, the 3 pre-existing members are decently available, so yeah, we're kind of waiting on those two.
And Hela came after those two, correct? Or am I?
Yeah, but
thinking of that incorrectly?
They're not necessarily following the release order. I want to assume.
Oh, I would love some predictability with that.
Yo, trust me, me too. I think it has something to do with like how well the offers sell. So I think like once they put out an offer for that character after a few weeks, like when the offers finally don't do well, that's when we're like, all right, I guess they can give it away for free.
Well, there's a lot of offers in the store, guys, and I'm not buying any of them. So hopefully some of these characters that are in your offer section right now are coming soon. Maybe that's what it means. I remember there was a few characters that had offers and then they became farmable. So maybe. I got 2 fingers crossed right here, guys.
Hey, I don't know how they decide that either. I agree with you. It should be more predictable for sure.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. FoxNext, it would make me purchase more, most likely, because then I would know when I would do stuff. Yeah, Scopely. All right, we're going to talk about that. I'm not sure if they're changing their name or not. All right, Mantis Blitz going on right now. I think most longtime players already have her maxed out, but what about the mid-game, newer game players? What should they be thinking about Mantis? I mean, this is a pretty decent healer, especially in that Guardians team.
Mantis not bad. Now she's in the Blitz store, so she's easy to get, so it's not like the most urgent Blitz, but Mantis as a character is pretty good. And a lot of mid-game players, when they move on from the defenders, they tend to go for like a Guardian / BKT team. And especially if you're strictly free to play, Minerva is restricted to Premium Orb exclusive. So if you're not getting lucky, you don't have Minerva. So having like the next best healer in her place is probably Mantis for a lot of the purposes. Like Scientist Supreme's also very good, but in terms of just healing, Mantis is really good. And then you can run a full Guardian team for Blitz if you want or need. You can run a full Guardian team for War. Mantis has good synergy with Drax too. So yeah, I like Mantis a lot as a cosmic healer.
And for some of you newer players, you weren't around. Mantis was the best raid healer in the game for a couple weeks, and then Minerva came out and overtook her. But one thing I wanted to talk about with Mantis, just for some of the newer players, one of the earlier teams you mentioned was that Guardians team. Star-Lord, 2 of the characters are available in that store, so getting some more shards for Mantis will be good to take some of the pressure off Gamora and hopefully get Star-Lord earlier for some of you new players that don't have Star-Lord unlocked. So another thing for newer and mid-game players, Asteroid M returns. Magneto, my goodness, this guy has been one of the meta characters for a long time now, since his release, and is still kind of involved in some of these arena meta teams that I'm seeing once in a while. Thoughts on Magneto?
He's great. He's one of the stronger legendaries, despite being at this point he's like somewhere in the middle in terms of release. I mean, what Iron Man I don't really count. So
he's available.
then I think it was
all the time.
Star-Lord,
That's
Fury,
why.
then Magneto. So he's officially, I think, in the back half of legendaries at this point.
Oh, that's so sad. He's still very good though. He's still very good.
No, he's still excellent.
Yeah, when you put it that way, yeah, he is towards the back half. One of the better overall characters in the game.
Yeah, he's a bit older, but he holds up well.
Yes. Still very valuable with that special or ultimate on turn 1. So good stuff right there. All right, Karnak event, or Karnak's not his event, his offer. Karnak's offer just came to the store this couple days ago. So you finally got a chance to play with Karnak, your full Inhumans team. Before we go into that full Inhumans team, now that they're out, what are your thoughts on Karnak specifically? His kit, is it satisfying you? Is it better than you thought on paper, or is it worse?
So I haven't done the Red Star orb opening for Karnak yet.
Okay.
And
that's important.
I have to look, but I don't think you can buy his orbs for cores. I think you can just get his offers, and however many shards you get.
Yeah, normally that happens around Blitz time, right? The orbs.
Yeah, probably. They'll probably be available come this Blitz. But so I just have a 3 gold star Karnak, so he can't hang with the rest of my Inhumans, who are all at least like 50k. So yeah, I've just played around with him very briefly, but he seems like a very niche character. He's the most replaceable one on the Inhumans, but he's very important for certain matchups. Someone called him the Heimdall of the Inhumans, which is pretty accurate, except that Heimdall's main function is not that useful, whereas Karnak's, although he's like a one-trick pony, his ultimate is very good. It hard counters Juggernaut and Colossus and characters like that. So I like him, but he's just kind of there as for the most part, one-purpose tool for the Inhumans, who otherwise just kind of benefits from the tag. So yeah, but he'll always have a place. Like what his ultimate does you'll always be able to get some value out of that if you ever need him to crack teams like Juggernaut teams, Colossus teams, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was liking his passive as well, giving him some extra focus. But yeah, definitely that ultimate, very, very good. Now, I haven't really ran across any of those teams in Blitz yet. How is his focus right now at his low star level for you?
Well, the thing is, some of his other abilities are probably not going to land. Like I'm using him against, like when I use him in Blitz, I use him with similarly powered tunes, just not the Inhumans. Okay. So his focus does fine there. Okay. But what it is his ultimate, again, like he's really just a character who exists for his ultimate for the most part, and again, otherwise he just kind of benefits from being an Inhuman. And so he gains 50,000 focus, like an extra 50,000% focus on his ultimate, if I remember correctly, on his own, which is good, but he needs to be with Black Bolt to get the 100,000% focus.
Okay.
And I believe, I don't remember Juggernaut, but I know like Colossus gets like 100,000% resistance when he has the defense up. So
I guess he needs Black Bolt.
He needs Black Bolt to counter Colossus, and I have to see how true that is against Juggernaut and Thanos and stuff like that. But
yeah, I'd like to test him out a little bit more. I've used him a little bit just on a full Inhumans team, but I haven't ran across any of these tanks just to kind of test out that focus to see if it's enough for a Colossus or a Juggernaut or one of these high resistance tanks.
I mean, he's going to have better odds than anyone else for the most part. Like, characters with like normal focus.
Yeah.
He'll have decent odds just from having an extra 50,000%.
I want to test it. I want to see it. So I'm still waiting on that. So I guess moving on to the Inhumans. I'm assuming you've played with Karnak in this full Inhumans team, and if you have, what are your thoughts on this team playing with them firsthand?
Well, I mean, I tried Karnak on the team a little bit, but again, he's pretty weak, and it doesn't really make sense to have him on there. But I don't actually really need him on there to get a feel for what they do and what they can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the strongest team in the game right now, like easily.
Stronger than X-Men?
Oh yeah, easy. Not as all-purpose, and like when you add Cyclops onto the X-Men for different things, the X-Men will be insanely good and possibly better than the Inhumans. But the way I see the Inhumans are like the new, 2 turns of Fury. They're gonna go in, and by the end of their second turn rotation, they're gonna level almost everything they come across. Anything still standing will do okay against them, but they have so much defense. Like they all spawn in with defense up, so they're not like vulnerable off the bat. They offense down everyone. Like when an enemy takes a turn, they're getting offense down. They all randomly get evades. They're constantly dodging, and then anytime someone drops below 50%, if they load it in full, so like every blitz match, every arena match, things like that, not only are they going to get healed for 40% of Crystal's max health, they're going to get up like 3 debuffs removed, which is most of the time all their debuffs. So people have to get through their evades, their defense up, themselves being offense down to push them past 50%, which heals them back up a ton and wipes debuffs to then push them down again. And they're kind of pressured to do that all before this ginormous turn 2 wombo combo goes off that just fires off so much AoE. And anytime someone gets low, Black Bolt basically just kicks them off the field. So
I actually have a follow-up question for you on this, but with what you said about this team, all the things that they do, I actually have 2 follow-ups. First was you said the best team in the game. How do you see this team going up maybe against the equal level as Guardians once you can power the Inhumans up? I haven't worked out the turns in my head. Easily beats them?
Yeah, so I used a 3/5 Inhumans team, which was Quake, Yo-Yo, and Black Bolt.
Okay.
And then the other 2 I had like Ronin and Yondu or something, not too valuable.
Yeah.
And I took them against Asgardians in War and did like a 30k punch up.
Wow.
They smashed the Asgardians.
Impressive.
The opening volley of the Asgardians is only scary because they're gonna like defense down a target and hit them super hard.
Yeah.
But so they're all spawning in with defense up, so they take a hit kind of well. Loki will defense down someone and start hitting them, but as soon as they drop below 50%, all of their debuffs go away.
True, yeah.
So there's a good chance when Hela goes to spread that they don't even have any debuffs to spread because they all got removed. And all that whole opening barrage, every one of them, like the Asgardians don't get like immunity on spawn like Coulson or anything, so every Asgardian's getting offense downed. And then
Crystal with Hela and Greg. Crystal with Hela and Greg. There's that.
Right.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, Hela is getting disrupted a lot, which is good. But like the Asgardians are weak to a big AoE wombo. Like that's hitting them all for a ton of AoE damage is what they're vulnerable to, really, once those defense ups wear off. So.
All right. So very good. So I guess that does sound better than the X-Men. My question that I thought of that came to mind while you were talking about all the good things that these Inhumans do, I think the natural thing would be to put them on offense in war and just punching up whatever, but they sound like they're pretty scary on defense as well. I mean, I don't know what could really get around them. So, I mean, they got the counters to X-Men with Crystal on there already. So where would you think that you get the most bang for your buck with these guys?
Oh yeah, I think they're probably going to go unchallenged on offense, so it makes sense to use them on offense. But it's just like X-Men, it's just like Brotherhood. Like every once in a while, people put X-Men or Brotherhood on defense, and they're basically good for 1 defense. right? Because like the crystal passive stops kicking in if they're not full when they load in. So they're gonna smash one team with their 2-turn wombo, but they have no. It's like one of the things that makes like Coulson and Asgardian so good is they're ready to go again and again and again. Like they have low cooldown, so as people are coming in, they just keep healing up. You know, the way the way their kits are, they keep going back to full. Like the concern with Coulson and the Asgardians is you might go in there and it might go so poorly that they end up with more health than when you started.
Oh,
that's not true of the Inhumans. The Inhumans are going to do their wombo combo, and the crystal passive is going to proc a lot when it's the first team facing them. But if you just send in some goobers to just eat their wombo, you'll get one defensive victory out of them, which isn't bad. But then you'll probably be able to take them out on the second.
Yeah, makes sense. They don't really have a lot of healing once they get down starting a battle without that health. So yeah, that does make sense. The good defensive teams usually have more.
And they'll still have defense up on spawn. They'll still have evades. They'll still have offense down. You'll have to take them seriously, but I don't know. I mean, considering how effectively they counter a lot of the top defenses, I can't really see putting them on defense. But you know, it's the problem is you need. Like, the teams that we need to win on offense are teams that are so crazy they can go toe-to-toe with these defense teams, even when the defense teams get all their war defense perks. Yeah. So, if you wanted to... Because some people have that strategy of like, oh, I just want to make the craziest defense ever. So, if you're literally like, I just want the 8 best possible defense teams, that's all I care about. Yeah. Then, yeah, put Inhumans on defense. They'll be a huge pain in the butt. But,
yeah, I know sometimes people shift people on war to go really heavy on D if they're taking some time off. So this would be a crazy team on defense if you're going for that kind of strategy.
Yep, I wouldn't enjoy fighting them. I'll tell you that.
That would scare me if I saw that on the defensive team.
That'd be a 2-tap for sure. It'd be a 2-tap, and you'd have to use a good, strong meta team for the second fight. But
yes. Some blitzes coming up. We got a yo-yo blitz second round coming up this week, and then followed by Karnak, and I'm assuming another Karnak after that. Just kind of a update, but let's talk about the big news of the week, guys. Let's talk and turn our attention to Scopely acquiring FoxNext from Walt Disney. In some ways, this brings a lot of relief. I know this was like a big thing looming over the community for a while, that Disney does not want to own an video game. They want to just license out its IP. So we kind of knew this was coming. What is your initial reaction? Not just to Scopely, but Disney finally selling FoxNext.
I guess I'm not a FoxNext shill anymore. Now I'm a Scopely shill.
Oh. I knew it was coming.
I'm kidding. That's a joke we've been making on Discord, and I'm sure I'll get accused of that. But so I'm probably gonna go in a full-on rant mode on this one. But
let's do it. It's the perfect form for that.
So many people are screaming that the sky is falling and this is the end of the game and we haven't seen anything. And one of the things that I think is so crazy is like the single biggest thing I keep seeing people say is like, oh man, you think FoxNext are greedy? Well, Scopely makes FoxNext look like they're running a charity. So if we go back like 1 week, you know, for the past however many months, people have been saying FoxNext is the greediest company. Why do people give them any money? They just try to cash grab. They just want to milk their players for as much as they can get, and they just cry. You know, all FoxNext wants is our money. Mm-hmm. But then, like a week ago, if you're like, oh well, maybe they'll sell to EA, then everyone's like, no, not EA. They're so much worse. It's like, oh okay. Maybe they'll sell to Kabam. No, not Kabam. They're so much worse. And so then you see like, oh well, it looks like they sold to Scopely, and everyone's like, no, not Scopely. They're so much worse. So you know, they could have sold to like a Chinese company like Tencent, and guess what people would have said? What? Tencent? No, they're so much worse. So
all right, so I guess that's kind of the reaction any company would be getting, but let's shift our attention towards Scopely itself. What are your thoughts on Scopely, the company buying FoxNext? And if you guys aren't really familiar with Scopely, they have made other games that I have played. I have enjoyed some of these: Looney Tunes, the WWE game, a Walking Dead game, a few others, but Yeah, what are your thoughts on Scopely itself as the company that buys FoxNext? What based on their reputation in the industry?
So I don't know too much about them, and you know, people look at the reviews and say like, oh, this one game had bad reviews, this game had bad reviews, I played this game, it was really pay to win, they were really cash grabby, yada yada. And I mean, the general opinion, like people who are like, what, no, I love the game, I'm still playing it, like most of those people you would find like on that game's subreddit or that game's forums, because they're just having fun playing the game. And like one thing I do like about Scopely is all of their titles that I've heard of, they're all still around, right?
That's good.
Like
That's
none
good.
of their games that I'm not saying like they've never had a game go under. Maybe they have, I don't know. But the, you know, people like Scopely, oh, they're behind this game and this game and this game. Like all those games are still going.
Yeah.
So that
is one
right
big
off the bat
question
is like,
mark that got eliminated. I know last year around this time there were rumors of Disney wanting to get rid of FoxNext. Maybe they're going to shut down the game. Maybe that's why all these offers. So I think that is one big important thing, that it brings some stability to this game.
Yeah, I think the game will go on for sure. And the other thing is like, if we see any changes, it'll be a while from now, right? They're not going to be like day one, like, oh, we're intricately familiar with your game, we've been following it this whole time, here's how we want to change the offers, we're going to make this character legendary. Like the first thing they're going to do is kind of sit and watch and be like, all right, so explain to us what's going on here.
Yeah.
And you know, try to figure out
any good business would do that. And these guys seem like they're a smart company, having these games stick around for that long. So I think they would follow some sound business practices there.
And these guys only do mobile games. So it's not like, you know, they're like, yeah, if the mobile games go under, that's fine. We're working on a bunch of movies or something. Like they just do mobile games. So, you know, their attention is in the right place. And the other thing that remains to be seen, and I haven't seen Mobile Gamer's video yet, but I talked to him before he put it out, so I had an idea of what's going to be in it. I assume he mentioned like a lot of the FoxNext dev team have been part of like the same dev group that's just gone from like place to place to place. They've been bought and sold like 12 times. Like they've stayed together under a bunch of different names throughout the history of their games. So I think that, you know, they're just, everyone I've talked to so far, you know, they can't legally say anything about the sale or anything, but I can ask them questions like, are you happy, are you sad, or are you neutral? And pretty much everyone's like neutral. It's just another day.
That's kind of my thinking here. The status quo. You know, FoxNext is known for being kind of a greedy company. Scopely is known for kind of being a greedy company. You know, I don't think the offers are going to change very much here, guys. That's my prediction, just kind of based on what I've seen happen in other games. But I don't know. I don't think there's going to be too much change. I think whatever they have going on at FoxNext, I think they're going to continue with whatever business they have, at least for a while. And if there's any changes, probably months away, like you're talking, right?
Yeah, I would imagine we wouldn't see change for a while. And I'm not expecting anything crazy drastic. And it's just funny to me that like the number one thing everyone's worried about is like, oh, you think the offers are bad now? They're about to get 5 times worse. Like, well, if you read the Reddit, like half the posts are like, oh, these are the worst offers ever. God, have they ever even played another game? Like, what are they thinking? $50 for a character, $100 for a character, laughable. And now everyone's like, oh, no, now they're all gonna be like $500. Like, where were all these people? Like, it's just been people complaining that, you know, FoxNext prices and offers are so outrageous. And then, like I said earlier, like you mentioned them being bought by any other company, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, no, guys, you think this is bad, just you wait. So it's mostly just people being negative and people crying that the sky is falling. And who knows, maybe the offer prices will go up. I don't know. You know, if I see the game take a turn for the worse, I'll be vocal about it as I can be.
Well, let me play Khasino here for a little bit. The offers may go up. Doesn't mean you got to buy them. You can still play this game, have fun, you know, spend money, don't have to spend money. So, you know, let's you don't have to buy all the offers. I don't buy all the offers. And I know you don't, right?
No, I certainly don't buy all the offers.
Not 100%. On certain days.
I buy an offer here and there, but I'm perfectly willing to boycott a truly terrible offer. And I'm so honored that you changed Play Devil's Advocate to Play Khasino. I love it.
Any other thoughts on this sale, my friend?
No, I mean, we pretty much summed up. It doesn't mean much going forward, but if like a small part of me is actually hoping that Scopely is like the terror that everyone thinks they are, just so that I get to be able to constantly say like, remember when we all just complained about how horrible FoxNext was every day? Those were the days.
Oh man, no, I don't want that.
Just because it would serve those people right who do nothing but complain, man.
No, they're probably not playing this game still. I'm probably just gonna be playing this game. No, I don't want that.
Yeah, no, I don't actually. I hope that it works out better for everyone. I hope that it just means that the game has a nice, steady, healthy lifespan, and they leave the current devs, like a lot of the higher ups from FoxNext, like the article said, we're going over. So I don't know. We haven't seen the terms of the sale, so I don't know where the who has how much creative control and whatever. But the other thing is that the people taking it over, I haven't looked at like if their other games have been bought from other companies, but like I imagine that one of the first things they're going to want to do is ingratiate themselves with the player base. Like, I don't think their first thing would be to come in and be like, hey, we're the new management, we're Scopely. So we had a pretty good idea. We noticed you guys love buying red stars, so we came up with green stars, and we hope you guys love them as much as red. Like, I don't think that would be their first move. I think their first move would be like, we want people to be celebrating the under new management, so I think they would be trying to spoil the players, even if later on down the road they were like, oh, we're gonna get those pocketbooks, but
most of their games start out very, very free to play friendly, from what I experienced, and then after that it ramped up pretty quickly. But I don't know, we'll see. I don't expect too much change here, and if the offers are bad, I'm just not gonna buy them. So
yep, and here's
this doesn't affect.
Here's one other thing that I wanna just throw out there is for the most part, like FoxNext is really good and really conscious of like how do we make as much money as possible doing what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Like to say FoxNext has how to get money out of players down to a science is a pretty accurate thing to say. So I'd actually be really surprised if Scopely showed up and we're like, oh, watch, you guys are terrible at this. Move over. We're gonna show you how to get everyone to pay $5
$100 red star offer. No. You got to pay $500 for each of these orbs, guys. No.
Yeah. Watch this. We're gonna reduce everything 20%. They'll still buy it. Watch.
Yeah, like the players will still remain if we shut everything out. Awesome.
Not only do I doubt they'll do that, but like if they try to make drastic changes to the infrastructure of the game, it will drive players away. Yeah. And if they suddenly start bleeding players, they're not gonna be like, no, keep doing this, it's working. They're gonna be like, oh shit, put that back, and we're gonna take some more time and try to figure out what the hell we just did, because I don't think, that's not what they're going for, is to drive players away. That's certainly not their aim.
Let's get out of speculation about what will happen to the game, because I think both of our conclusions is not too much. Let's start talking about what some things that we know are coming to the game. We know Symbiote Spider-Man is coming to the game. Question I think on everybody's mind is, what should you make of this? The timing of this character is weird. The shakeup that he's doing to some of these Spider-Verse and Brotherhood teams and other stuff is kind of weird. Will the Symbiote team be part of the meta? Are they the Dark Dimension 3 City No team? I mean, there's so many questions. What have you made of this Symbiote Spider-Man situation going on right now in this game, and what do you think is going to happen with all of these questions that I have posed to you?
So, it's interesting. It's a little too early to say. Like, I was actually not that impressed by the Symbiote team in Fear the Darkness, the footage they sent us.
Yeah.
Like, they really pushed it, and Fear the Darkness was more of a marathon than a sprint. Like, the damage in Fear the Darkness wasn't that crazy, and this team took a ton of damage. So for content that has
Venom almost died in that footage.
Right. Now to be fair, they got hit with like some of the things they're most vulnerable to. They got defense down.
This was their showcase footage. Is this the best footage of this Symbiote team that they could have sent? I mean, they're all almost dead in the beginning of the footage.
Yeah, that footage sucked, and then Cyclops, although this is like the Cyclops gameplay people will experience, I was also upset about the Cyclops footage because he was in stealth the whole damn time.
Yes.
Like I put the cool animations from the new characters at the front of my video, and Cyclops was translucent blue for all of it. So yeah, I was not happy.
We'll get to Cyclops. But
no, I just wanted to bash though that they really did not think through the footage they sent us.
Yeah, they didn't do favors for the Symbiote fans there, but yeah.
No,
so
I don't think so.
What is going to be happening? Do you think this is the Dark Dimension 3 team?
Possibly. I mean, again, we don't know what city teams will release between now and then, but it's very possible. If they're able to keep juggling around those debuffs, their sustain was pretty crazy, so it's very possible. But my advice hasn't changed. Hoard your resources, and when the time comes where you're actually in a position where you have to make that decision, put it into the best characters at that time. But until then, just save the resources and don't. It doesn't do you any good to like try to plan. If you hard commit to that team and a better character comes out, you'll just be kicking yourself. Just save the resources, commit at that time. But what I'm most looking forward to is like Symbiote Spider-Man really rounds out that team, and that team already was reliably winning for me in 8-3 of Blitz. They already were able to get some good war matchups. So
and you're talking about the full Spider-Verse team, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now Green Goblin is comfortably permanently on the Sinister Six, and the Spider-Verse symbiote team
ready to go.
What the Symbiverse?
I don't know. Whatever.
Is that what we'll call
them? The spider people. I don't know. Let us know in the comments, guys.
Team.
I mean, it's late here where I'm talking. You guys have some probably way better ideas. Let us know in the comments. What should this team be called? Three Spider-Men and 3 Spider-Man, 3 symbiotes. I don't know. Because that one feels a dual role, but whatever. I don't know.
The 8-legged freaks.
Yeah.
Call them the 8-legged freaks.
That could be a name.
But they seem like they're pretty well rounded now, so I'm interested to see how they perform. And I think one thing that FoxNext is kind of cognizant of is like you'll notice some players just love a team, even if they're not that good. Some players just love the team and will build them. Like we both know a guy who went all in on Hydra, and he's like, I don't care if Hydra suck. I love Hydra. I'm going all in on Hydra. And I know someone like that for like every team. Like I know a guy.
I was like that with Thor, not for a whole team, but I was like that with Thor for a while. I was like, I don't care if he sucks. I'm building his character up. Right.
So I think that Symbiote Spider-Man was like, like a lifeline to those players. Like some people just really love the Spider-Man characters, and really like the symbiotes and stuff. And so yeah, I think they just kind of did that as like well, now if you really want to go all in on this team, like they'll have some arena functionality, they'll have some blitz functionality for sure, but like now you can also use them as a raid team. Just like making the team well-rounded enough that if you put everything into them, they can get stuff done. And then I don't know this for sure, but I suspect that they want to add more symbiotes.
Yeah, right? we speculated on some. There was a lot that was mentioned in the comments that it could be, and you mentioned a bunch on the show as well. So it seems like they are going to be doing that, just from what we're seeing. So maybe those will be the rounded out city characters. And
there's plenty of Spider-Men. You can go Spider-Man 2099 and Spider-Gwen and Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Noir. You can get real crazy. So I think eventually we'll have a Symbiote squad and a Spider-Verse squad and a Sinister Six squad all separate.
I know Mobile Gamer and my daughter both want Spider-Gwen to come to the game.
Oh, so. Me too.
Sure. That's 3. I'll throw my name in a hat. Other question I had about this Symbiote Spider-Man coming out, we saw something interesting in his kit. Dark Dimension specific functionality of his abilities. Do you think this is something that we are going to see more of, especially for some of these city characters or some of these other nodes for Dark Dimension 3?
Maybe. I forget, is Mantis raid in Dark Dimension or just raid?
It was just raid because I don't think there was Dark Dimension at the time, but I think it's just raid.
Okay.
Unless they changed it.
All right, well then that's interesting that they made him raid in Dark Dimension. Maybe they're trying to nudge people towards that team.
Dark Dimension 3, get those red stars, baby.
Maybe.
All right, another character that we want to do some speculation on because there's been a lot of questions about this. So let's start with Cyclops. I guess the biggest speculation before we get into like his role on the X-Men team. How do you think he's going to release? I know I've asked you this like the past 3 weeks. I want to see if your answer has changed. I know it has changed from last week to the previous and the week previous. So what are your thoughts on his release method this week?
I'm still convinced he's milestones, and there's still no way to know. It's pure speculation, but I mean he's 180 shard unlock, so that right away seems like a milestone character. The milestones. So someone pointed this out. I haven't verified if this is true, but I'm gonna cite this because it works with my theory. But let me know in the comments if it's not true. Someone cited that like they only start milestone release characters when all the milestones line up to end on the same day, and they said that cycle where they all end on the same day happens every 2 weeks. So I'm thinking 2 weeks from now is like enough time that the Karnak offers will have been out for a couple weeks. They'll probably feel like they can hit us with another character.
Not next week. It'll be a streak of like 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I know. It feels like it'd be in 3 days at this rate.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's been so crazy.
It's crazy. All right. I guess the more important question is, how is this character going to be used? Because obviously you're going to put him somewhere on this X-Men team, which means that one of the current X-Men is out. I think a lot of people are thinking Storm, Psylocke. I don't think you could take out Wolverine with all the synergy that he has. Wolverine. Who are you leaning towards taking out? I think for me, it's probably going to be Storm. How are you feeling? Now she does have that speed though, so I don't know. I'm leaning towards Storm though right now.
So I just don't like the question. A lot of people keep asking like, all right, so who are we dropping? It's like,
you're gonna have to, because you're gonna have to drop somebody.
The same advice I gave you for Fury Shield. I know it's not what people want to hear, and immediately after I give the answer, people are like, yeah, but if you had to drop one, it's like, no, I really wouldn't. Like, I would not I wouldn't put myself in a position where I had to drop one. I would rather everyone be slightly weaker, but at least be able to pivot and get both uses out of the team. So if you don't need cleansing and dispel, drop Psylocke, because Storm is just adding speed and damage, and she's got stuns, big AoE. Like, Storm just amplifies what the team is capable of. But with Cyclops, you're good on the damage front, and Storm is definitely more intended for persistent health game modes because she can store up charges. So assuming that you'll need to be able to clear enemy buffs and remove debuffs, Storm is the one that you're more likely to drop. But yeah, and I think we'll talk about Beast in a sec, but I think they're trying to have more different X-Men for different game modes. But yeah, anytime you don't need the specific tools that Psylocke has, Storm is going to just bring a bunch of speed and damage that's great.
Okay. So you would keep all 6 and just change it around based on who you're facing in the game mode.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
Even dropping one permanently. All right.
Well, and because like if you're gonna I don't just use my X-Men for Arena and Blitz. I use them for raid as well. And so like if you're gonna bring them into raid, even if it's just for one node, you gotta have Storm.
Storm is good. I'm not having as much luck with her, but we are doing Ultima 7 and yeah, she's not adding a lot of value. Do you use her on
the very first node? Because you can charge her up a lot on the first node.
No, I haven't been charging her, so maybe that's my problem with her in the raid.
Yeah,
so
maybe I should be first node with a bunch of healers and have like 15 charges after the first node.
I should do that. I'll do that. I'll see how much better she is. Yes, I've been wanting to use her to her full potential. I didn't really get it in that first wave of Ultima 7. That was that for the first strike version or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. But anyway, I think there is a character that I think everybody will be taking into this X-Men team in raids, and you mentioned him earlier, and that is Beast. We had another data mine of his kit. I don't know if anything has changed, but I don't know if we fully covered the data mine of Beast's kit on this. I think we just mentioned it briefly, but I don't think we went through it line by line now. Just kind of a disclaimer, the person that data mined this, or the person that posted this at the least, said that these are missing numbers from earlier levels, and this in general gives me the feeling of this being a test code. So this most likely not final. General thoughts, and then we'll get into each of his abilities. What are your thoughts on this kit? A lot of healing, a lot of sustainability, does a lot of good support type mechanics for this full X-Men team.
Yeah, he looks great. I like him, and I like that his ultimate does something very unique that we haven't really seen before, which is that it differentiates based on class what it does for people.
Yes. Why don't I read that now so everybody that's not that's listening to this on the podcast knows what this is. All right. So his ultimate, it is a 4-turn cooldown, starts with 4 charges, increased duration of all positive effects on self and X-Men allies by 2. So I'm thinking of a lot of those stealths and stuff from Phoenix, up to a maximum of 7. Apply, and that especially with Colossus. Oh my goodness! Applying 2 turns of offense up to a random X-Men blaster, brawler, or controller. Apply 2 turns of defense up to a random X-Men protector, which is pretty much just Colossus. Applying 2 turns of speed up to a random X-Men support. Generate 1 ability energy to a random X-Men support. Apply 3 deflect to 1 non-X-Men ally. My goodness, wall of text there for his ultimate. Not really doing any damage, but just doing a lot of good for the whole team. Very, very interesting. What are your thoughts on this ultimate, and where is this going to be valuable? Raids? This ultimate particular?
Yeah. So to me, this reads as he's supposed to replace Phoenix for raids, because he's bringing the 30% damage and 30% max health that Phoenix would have anyway. And then on turn, he's healing for % max and 2-turn regen. On spawn, he's increasing charges if anyone has charges, which there's Storm for raid right there. And then he's giving ability energy and deflect, speed up to the supports. Like he's the raid guy, and his special is healing the lowest health for a ton.
Yes.
So, and it's only 3 energy.
Two lowest health. So even better. And you're attacking with that. You're healing and attacking, which is a nice move. Most of the heals don't really have that, so his special does.
People keep asking me, like, is that going to stack with Phoenix's passive? And like, yes, but the whole thing is, like, for raid, Phoenix is a very expensive raid character, because to use her properly, for the most part, she dies on every node. Like, you can keep her alive and just have her as Phoenix, and that goes okay, but the value you get out of her, especially for stuff like Ultima 7, is a Dark Phoenix. So you can run them both and revive her every node.
If there's one node, oh my goodness, I'm bringing both of these guys in. I think I got to look at all these guys' kits, but yeah, that extra damage, if you don't need that sustainability for more than one node from Phoenix, I think.
Yeah, if you just want to tackle one node, yeah.
His basic is looking good too. It's a chain attack, very basic, and yeah, you mentioned the passive healing. Self and X-Men allies will gain 30% damage and 30% max health on turn, healing the lowest health X-Men ally for 15% of this character's max health. So every turn, and applying regeneration for 2 turns on spawn. If any X-Men allies have charge, they gain +1 charge up to 7. So yeah, the Storm thing you mentioned. So looking really nice. I like this guy's kit in there. Cyclops, yeah. So really relying on those charges and the heal, the sustainability that this team is really lacking. So I think he will be a very good character. Off the top of your head, who is your X-Men raid team once Beast comes out?
Assuming that we have Cyclops too. Cyclops is kinda tied to Jean, not really though. I mean, you gotta have Colossus, you gotta have Beast. Wolverine's kind of self-sustaining, so let's go. Well, no,
probably,
you gotta have
probably
Psylocke
Storm,
too.
Probably Storm because
she
is the raid character.
You have to have Colossus, Beast, and Storm. Like
Colossus,
those are
all right. The 3.
That's a raid trio. The remaining spots, I assume you drop Phoenix if you're going for sustain, and then I'm gonna say that you gotta have.
Are you keeping Wolverine in there?
I think I'm keeping Psylocke, so it comes down to Wolverine versus Cyclops, but I think I'm keeping Psylocke for the cleansing and the dispel. So
possibly
if we're going a full
X-Men
node,
if you got a lot of Mordos or Spider-Man or something that you're going up against, then maybe use Psylocke. If not, then then Cyclops and Wolverine.
It's the Wolverine. I think I drop Wolverine. Wolverine, his ult is single target. Cyclops is the AoE, so I'm going Cyclops.
Okay.
Plus, he'll benefit from the charges and stuff, and he'll be getting offense up.
Yeah, he is self-sustaining, but his kit is not very impressive. So
no, but with all the like Beast will give him offense up, and because because he's a blaster. And
oh, you're talking about Cyclops. I was talking about Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that team. So yes, when will he be coming to the game? It does make sense very, very soon, but you know of some other characters that you've heard rumors about, and we've talked about them in previous episodes. Now, the clue from last week was villains. Is there anything else you could tell us this week about who some of these rumored characters potentially are?
Yes, and I want to clarify too. Firstly, just to keep it interesting, like I could spill a bunch of the rumored names right away, but I think that's less fun, and then there's not as much to be excited about as we go on. So I'm doing it little by little, but also, like in the past, I'll have heard things like, "Hey, this is who's coming next patch," and so I'm like, all right, well, these are the characters that I want to let people know are coming next patch. This time, I've heard like a batch of let's say like somewhere in the neighborhood of like 8 or 9 names, and it's unclear who would be coming when. And like now, I'm getting information from people that are like, I know a guy who knows a guy.
Oh,
the information's in a really weird place these days. So
it sounds like you're getting information from a lot of different sources. And is this like the consistency that you're getting between all these sources?
I'm trying to put, that's the other thing is, so not only am I playing a game of telephone these days, but I am trying to like corroborate several stories, and a lot of them have a good amount of overlap, but differing on certain details. So it sounds like they might do another patch before 4.0, and so I think because they're kind of throwing together, again, that's what I'm currently hearing. I don't know if that's true, but I'm hearing that
like it with what we're seeing in the data mines, most of which we went over last week.
Right, it sounds like they're going to try to do a 3.9 before 4.0, and so it sounds like the stuff that's going to get put in there is like stuff they've been meaning to get around to for a while they're spending more time and attention on 4.0, but they have a bunch of stuff that I think they just want to get in and be done with. So someone like Beast strikes me as the kind of character that would be like a 3.9 release if that happens.
Makes sense. Like Cyclops,
that's not a rumor I've heard, but like that makes sense.
I mean, that does make sense. He's been in a game. His files have been in the game for a long time, so I would agree. He makes sense.
So
not even a rumor at this point.
So I'm hearing rumors of Red Skull, which I talked about in a video and we've talked about. He's a villain, and I think him and a Hydra rework are likely if we get a 3.9 patch. And then while I am hearing about a lot of villains, the villains that I think are more likely to be coming up soon would here's the hint I'm comfortable dropping on this one. Is these villains would join an existing team right now.
Many different directions that could go. How many villain teams do we have in the game, guys? I don't know off the top of my head. You guys probably know way better than I do in the comments.
I didn't necessarily say it was a villain team either. Killmonger came out and joined a team of heroes. The original Spider-Verse got Venom and Carnage on it.
That opens up so many more possibilities. Jeez. All right, guys, it is time. Leave your speculation in the comments down below. Get your names onto files, get the date locked in, and get your predictions there. All right. Anything else we can kind of get out of you before next week, or do we have to wait?
I'm not that comfortable with the information that I have to say something, because like I said, in the past, at least someone will have said like, hey, I heard, these 3 or 4 or 5 characters are coming next patch, whatever. But these days, not only, like I said, is it coming from multiple people, but like I'll just get like a big blob of like 9-10 names or something, and they'll be like, oh yeah, probably these characters sometime in the next few patches. It's like
okay.
So I gotta just go with the ones I think are more likely. So that's what I got for you. I'll try to narrow it down more for next week. So
okay, interesting. All right, so that is it, guys. Khasino, thank you once again for joining me on your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. Khasino, tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
Well, this week I'm out of town for my brother's wedding, as you may be able to tell from the backdrop and stuff. But
Sweet.
normally you can find me youtube.com/Khasino, twitch.tv/Khasino, discord.gg/Khasino. So yeah, come find me.
Nice.
I'm around.
Cool. Super duper, guys. Links are down below. And I will see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you're listening on the podcast, I hope you like this podcast. If you did, subscribe to the channel, join the notification squad. Check out some of the links, guys. A lot of them support the channel. BlueStacks, Patreon. There's links for some Valley merch, all kind of stuff, guys. And I will see you guys next time. Make sure you follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And join my Discord. Hulk fist bump, baby. ValleyFlyin out.